Hi guys, it's George at Optics and going to do a video I've been meaning to do for quite a while now, but just a quick run through on how I set up the WULF compressors, because I know we get lots of calls about it and hopefully this will just act as a basic guide to get you guys up and running. So to start off with, obviously you get a lot more in the box than what's here. I've only got the hose, the plug and then the power cable. The other stuff, your spare filters and that, aren't needed for your day-to-day use. So start off with, if you look on the side here of all compressors, they have a little port just there. That is for topping up the lubricant. When you first get it, literally only 3 drops, leave it for 5 minutes. I've already done that with this one, so it's good to go. While we're here as well, I've got it outside. This here is not a bleed. This is for dumping any gunk that's in the filter. You can use it as a bleed, but I don't recommend it as your main way of bleeding it. So before we get it powered up, ready to go, the next thing you need to check is your fuse there on the side, just making sure it hasn't tripped or anything like that. Now this is a guide on how to run it from mains. I don't have a car battery, so I can't show you that. So start off with, put it on a nice secure surface. They do rattle around, so you want to make sure it's not going to wobble off, and all the other things on your desk, they are going to shake, so make sure they're secured too. So take your power cord, obviously that end into the compressor, and then plug end into the wall. Turn that on. Now you should see the numbers and display come up. It's still not powered on yet. This is just how it responds to having being plugged into a power source. You may even hear a fan start whirling up. So next thing is power. You'll see the screen turn on and all the values will be at whatever. Temperature should just be the ambient temperature at the moment. So to check that we've got it set to what we want, you press and hold set until you see the bar start flashing. Now I want this in bar, so that's good for me. And then goes on to working pressure. So for this quick test, I'm just going to keep it to 100 bar, but you just set that to whatever you want, whether that's 100 bar, whether that's 250 up to 300 bar. With these, they are for filling rifles only, or reservoirs of up to, as an absolute max, 500 cc's. So once you've done that, it's timed out as I was talking. So yeah, working bar there. You want that at 42 for mains usage. And then temperature, you want it in degree C. Well, I have it in degree C, and then at 80. The compressors can get that hot, especially if they're running for a long time. So that is good to go. As well, if you need to change any of this, once you've got it selected, it's just the down and up arrows to change it up or down. So next thing to do, so I'm going to do this as if I was going to fill something. You make sure your bleed is done up there. It's just that one here. Make sure it's nice and tight. And again, that one on the bottom, make sure that's nice and tight. Now for testing compressors, you don't need to plug it into the gun. You just take your hose and you blank off one of the ends with the supplied blanking plug. So pop that on there. It's just basic Foster fittings. If you've been into air gunning for a little bit, you should be fairly familiar with them, especially if you're a day state owner. So once you've got it set like this, just something to mention, this is a secondary filter. Once you start filling with it at one end, keep it at that end. So I've got this linked to the compressor side rather than the fill side. So I'll keep that on the compressor side until I change the filters. So if any crud or crap has come through, it's going to be at that end of the filter. If I then swap it round, that's then going to be blown back into what I'm filling, and obviously we don't want that. So the next thing to do, so we've got our hose, it's all hooked up as if it was into a gun. Obviously I'm just blanking it. It's powered on. We turn the fan on. It's just that button there. And you'll hear, it takes a little moment, but the fan will start to whirl up. It does get quite loud, and what we want to look for, we want to leave this until we see the temperature start to change. So it's at 18 degrees C now. As you see, it's already started going down to 17. I'm just going to let that run for a little bit. The temperature will fluctuate as the motor turns, or as the fan motor comes on, but we just want to see that it's changing temperature and that it's sucking in cool air. So we just leave that for a moment. So now I'm happy for that to start filling. So all we do is motor on that bottom button there, and you'll hear the motor turns on. As you can see, it does start shaking a fair bit. That's normal. And the pressure starts to climb. And you just watch that until it gets up to your desired pressure. So now it has filled. It's gone red, it's automatically shut itself off. That means that the motor's cut out, it's all good to go. You will see this pressure bar fluctuate to a degree. Some of that is just from temperature change. As you can see here, it's because I've just taken this hose straight out of the box. Just needs a little cinch up on one of those, and feel it, it's just in here. Now to disconnect, what you now need to do is come to your bleed valve. I'm just going to turn the fan off for a moment. We don't need that running. So as you see, it's filled. Again, pressure's fluctuated due to temperature, and I know there's a little leak on this one, just needs to cinch up. Come to the, so I can see that, come to the bleed valve there, you just slowly open it up. You'll see the pressure drop on the screen, and just keep winding it out. You will hear probably a little whine as well. And now, once that's all the way out and it is fully bled and is empty, you should be able to disconnect your hose, no issue, like so. There might be a little bit of an air leak just then. It's nothing to worry about, that is just reserved air that's in the airline still. And then power off, and that is it. That is how to set up and use the WULF compressor.